Mentioned that one of the victims in the attack was Mike Hill. He was a custodian at the Covenant School for close to a decade and a half, and he was a big part of what made this school feel like a family. We've heard it from everyone. I'm joined this morning by one of Mr. Hill's friends, Pastor Jim BACHMANN. You were a founding pastor here at the church. Mike was a dear friend of yours. Tell me about him. Father of 7, grandchildren to nearly a dozen. Grandfather to nearly a dozen.
Yes, he was a great man. He was a custodian, but a friend. I was a senior pastor. I'm white, he's black. It didn't make any difference. We talked about faith. We talked a lot about his love life. We got along famously. Everybody loved Mike. Mike knew the kids in the school, knew their names, and took a very personal interest in them. And whenever he saw my kids, who weren't students at the school, but he'd give them a big hug. And so Mike was one of those people you could not like.
You were here when the property, the school, the church, everything was built. You know that upstairs where the shooting happened. When you arrived this morning, you told me that you heard that the shooter was initially going for the current pastor, trying to find him. Can you tell us more about that?
I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but I heard he went into the office suite, which I remember that area very well. And apparently some of the staff, they just had a safety or shooter drill the week before, so that's fortunate. So they were hiding, and I think the pastor, Chad Scruggs, was not present, is what I've heard. And then the shooter turned and went back down the hallway to the 2nd and 3rd grade classrooms.
The shooter you knew in 2nd grade, what do you remember?
Not much, just another sweet little 2nd grade girl that was competitive, liked to play sports with the boys, and came from a wonderful family, and she was a very sweet girl.
Pastor, I want to ask you, I've heard so many people say lately, faith-filled people, I don't want your thoughts and prayers, I don't want to hear about thoughts and prayers, I want action. As a man of faith, you will conduct Mike Hill's funeral next week. You will preside over it. What do you say to those people who say that?
Well, I haven't decided yet, but I'm sure I will.
No, but about we don't need your thoughts and prayers, we need action. What do you say to that?
You mean action from who, the police or?
Laws that restrict these types of guns, or gun laws.
That's a little bit above my pay grade. I think what I say is we need to love each other, and we need to learn to disagree agreeably, and learn how to forgive. And people from different ideologies, different theologies, different backgrounds, it's okay to disagree, but it's not okay to shoot each other, and particularly shoot children and innocent victims. And so the message of the gospel is we love our neighbor as ourselves and try to bear each other's burdens and work through whatever problems. We all have problems, and we all need help at times in our lives, and so that's part of my job to try and help those situations.
Thank you for showing up this morning.
Yes, sir. God bless you.
We appreciate you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Tony, before I toss it back to you, I want to show you one thing that we saw yesterday. Miss Carolyn Modisher. She's 101 years old, and she walked up to the memorial yesterday in front of the Covenant, even though she didn't know many of the people there. She said, quote, "At my age, 101, maybe it's a little ridiculous for me to be here, but I just had to come." One of many who have shown up to pray. Tony.
Yeah, David, I can understand it. A lot of people are thinking about Nashville right now. We do so much to protect our children in this country. We put padding on playgrounds, padding on the cornering of the table. But when it comes to guns, it just seems our urge to protect, it falls short. It breaks down. And I'm not sure why. I guess it's above our pay grade as well, guys.
I don't think it's ridiculous at all that she wanted to be there. Everybody feels that they want to do something. But I think we have to say something about those police officers.
Yes.
There's been so much negativity about police officers in the news and just on the air, and to hear these 2 officers, Rex Engelberg and Michael Collazo, if you haven't looked at that 3-minute video that's been released, it's riveting. My heart started racing because these guys clearly had a system. They ran, as soon as they heard gunfire, they ran to the gunfire.
No hesitation.
Nate, there was no hesitation, knowing that their lives were in jeopardy. And I think the majority of the police officers behave the way those 2 do.
Yeah.
And it shows the important work that they do. I'm in awe. Yeah.
Danger, and that is what courage is.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly right.
David Begnaud, thank you again for your reporting from Nashville.